Okay, now I got everything working. This is more than I can handle, I tell you. But we're now on officially live. I should have said 1:15 instead of 1 o'clock. So hopefully many of you come back in, and I'm going to just put in our basic title. I'm going to keep it short. And hopefully everybody gets back on. While I'm typing in this, I am Brother Francis Revels-Bey. Oh boy, I am the podcast host here at Resident Essentials YouTube channel, or I should say Resident Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics YouTube channel. YouTube is always has a lot of people broadcasting, probably as many as 25,000 people online. I know a lot of the other streaming platforms such as Justin TV and Ustream, Livestream, Mogul, uh, so many others where you can go on and, broadcast live. I imagine many of you remember the days of MySpace where you could upload pre-recorded videos and sometimes go live, right? Now you have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have YouTube here, so many other different platforms. Well, today's topic is there are two Plutos. And I thought I would start with something like that, Plutos. One, as we know, one is a cartoon character. Let me see if I can catch that right. One is a cartoon character, and the other is a planet. So, if you're out there, join me again. Sorry for the mishap here, technically going on. There's always something happening here. Uh, let's see if I can come through another way and let everyone know that I'm in here. Well, one of the things that we're always dealing with is electronics. And we definitely have our share of, I do, I'm quite sure many other people do too, as to when and how something is happening or not happening for us. And I'll just put it in here for everyone, even more people, because I had left out a few. So now I got everybody back in here. So this is a golden opportunity to share unique wisdom with all of you, and um, also at the same time explore some things. Today is one of those unique days, and I'm laughing because I should know by now that you never have a perfect run on YouTube. Even the best people who are true techies don't. Well, welcome to my channel, Clear Blue Radiance. I've been Radiance here on YouTube channel, Resident Essentials YouTube channel. And of course, I've been a spiritual counselor for over 40 plus years. and I enjoy helping people such as yourself gain greater clarity in your life and also clarify what your specific purpose in life is for you. And our purpose changes as we evolve. We're constantly evolving. We're constantly being faced with challenges of life itself, but also the greater cosmos has things in store for us. As many new thought practitioners and teachers, I would say that, especially people like Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, he always states that life is flowing through us. Life is flowing through us. We are these energetic beings. And so that makes sense. We're in a sea of activity, a sea of electromagnetic energy. We're in a sea of light that's being emanated from various creatures and beings. We are a part of a greater existence. We are a part of knowing, being reincarnated into this planet, into the greater galaxy, to understand that our minds are entangled with everyone else's. That means there's billions and trillions of thoughts and feelings flowing throughout this world or this planet, and we're in touch with it all the time. That's why we're seeing various experiences happening around us all the time, and we wonder where do those thoughts and images and traumatic experiences, many of that is not our own. It belongs to other people, groups of other people. And so in this particular weekly podcast, I get an opportunity to share different thoughts and feelings with you. I know that many others have experienced. And I also want to let people know, I always want to, I'm starting to become more in a state of gratitude and thanks. So, first of all, I want to thank Michelle Vidal. This is her Resident Essentials YouTube channel, and she's allowed me to come on here and share my original podcast on it. I started out one moment, it was Wisdom Keys, and then I changed it to Clear Blue Radiance. That feels much better to utilize. That's why you always see me wear something in blue. So I want to give her a shout out and a thanks for letting me come on here and leave information for our her subscribers and many other people. Hey there, Linda. Good afternoon. And so it is an opportunity to share things that I have learned in the past 45 years 50 years being here on the planet, doing these teachings. I'm 72 now, so I got a little bit more than that, right? I got over 70 plus years of experiences and remembrances. I want to give a thanks to people who have been following me as well, such as here Linda Garcia, my good friend Linda here in this state that we share together. Also, Barbara Ewing, Jackie Fillmore, Antoine, Indigo Moon, Samira Woods, Melanie Hall, who pops in here from out of the country and tuning in to this podcast that I do every Thursday. Also, Holly Hammett, Will Phillip, Lauren White. Sometimes she pops in here very quietly. Jen Merriman, and there are many, many more people that are always listening to the information that I do my best to be like a Johnny Appleseed and plant here. Some of them I repeat because I've done pretty close to 184 podcasts. That's a lot of podcasting, right? That's almost what is 52 weeks of the year. There's been many weeks that I have taken off, but that's at least what? That's pretty close to over four, almost 4 years of coming here and putting out this data. So yeah, we've been online here since 2020. I think that's when we started putting up information for Resident Essentials. Uh, Esoteric School of Metaphysics. If you want to find out more, all you do is go to the website www.resonantessentials.com, and a calendar should pop up and it should show you all the weekly events, weekly classes that she might be teaching. You'll see the class I do every Saturday, which is Creative Pathwork Meditations from 12:30 p.m., actually from 11:30 a.m. in the morning to 12:30 p.m. And I make sure you have a lot of fun. So you learn how to meditate with my particular method, Creative Pathwork Meditation Series. And a lot of it is based on everything that I've been doing since when I first stepped onto the platform to study meditation when I was just a freshman in college way back in 1971. And then it just began to mushroom out on its own. And even though I do other metaphysical, spiritual topics from tarot to numerology to dreams, lucid dreams, astral travel, soul travel concepts, meditation has been my foremost greatest ministry in itself, and I offer that to the world in various ways throughout the month. So I want to begin to talk about this, and I was just wanted to talk briefly about the planet Pluto, but I have a heart of a child, and sometimes I think of cartoons all the time. I can't help it. It's a part of who I am, and it brings joy to me. And so, one of the cartoon characters that I thought about was the Disney cartoon character called Pluto, and Pluto was a dog, and he was the pet to the character Mickey Mouse. So, can you imagine the character of a mouse, a little bigger than the dog, and they had a unique kind of relationship. So I did a brief, check into this, and I got this information online, and it was called a cartoon movie called In the Moose Hunt or The Moose Hunt. Okay, hunting the moose, right? Which came out on May 3rd, 1931. So under the sign of Taurus, it came out May 3rd, 1931. Pluto appeared as Mickey's pet and was given the name Pluto. So he was a dog, a hound dog, basically. And he's given the name Pluto by the cartoon character, Mickey Mouse. But what it said online was several months had passed between the naming of what was classified as the ninth planet in the heavens, called Pluto, Pluto. And that was on May 1st, 1930. So a year apart is what is discovered as the ninth planet by astronomers, called Pluto. That's the name they gave it, right? And then a whole year later, the name Pluto is given to the dog cartoon character for Mickey Mouse, the hound dog, and called it Pluto. So I found that as two fixed the same astrological sign period, a fixed earth sign, which is Taurus, a more grounded earth sign, Taurus called the bull, the ability to rush through things, to exalt things, to make things stronger or better. And this is my take on it astrologically. Hopefully, Golden Timeline 711, who's very much into astrology, will pop back in here. She was one of the first people that was able to come on, but I didn't have any sound. So she might be in there listening. Also, I want to make sure I got everybody's name. Yeah, Indigo Moon is probably in there too. So, anyway, I want to keep in mind, cartoons have always been utilized to serve messages to children. I remember when I was younger and, being at home and you're watching cartoons, and sometimes out of the clear blue sky, they would put some information about the gross national product. Amazing. Children are watching cartoons and they would insert this. Certain TV stations would insert those things. This is back in the 50s and the 60s. And you be wondering, like, okay, what happened to my Mickey Mouse? What happened to my, Mighty Mouse, as they call it? He was on Saturday. It's a flying mouse. What happened to all these things? And why is this in there? And so, the TV stations had a way of planting a seed and seeing how, knowing that children would be watching their channel, that they could insert these things. So we think of it that way. There's something always going on in the world, in the atmosphere around us. Something is always being planted into our minds on some level, either consciously, unconsciously, and of course, subconsciously. And we have to be able to determine and tell the difference from what is real or what is not real, or what is real but implanted into the minds of the public. The planet Pluto, most astrologers say, will be in full effect on November, and that was either to happen November the 19th or the 20th, which was yesterday, in the year of 2024. For 20 years, meaning that it was going to be reigning, ruling in the sign of Aquarius for the next 20 years. That's from 2024, taking us all the way up to 2043. So pretty close to about 19, 20 years. All right, 2044. That's what I kind of computed it to be. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Pluto is known as the double octave to the planet Mars. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. So Pluto is seen as a higher vibration, one octave higher. Mars is like the warrior spirit, the warrior mentality. But Pluto is looked at as representing rebirth, regeneration, excuse me, and transformation, which is now connected to the expression of Pluto. And this is the time, as far as I could be aware of, this is the time when our higher self, or people call the oversoul, can become a part of you and be on full display. So the more you attune yourself to your higher self to be one with it, the more and the greater the opportunity for you to be blessed by that higher consciousness coming in, and being able to definitely step on the gas. And hey there, Jackie, best to step on the gas and show out with your higher self. We just had an election time frame. We, many of us were upset. I was upset in this human form, but got myself together and eventually realized, hey, no matter who's in that building called the White House, we have to live. We have to still grow. We have to still expand. We have to still become more creative, right, with our natural abilities. And to, there are people in the business. There's people said stocks went up. And so people were jumping on that. And so, we don't control everything. We don't have to control everything. What we do have to control is ourselves and how we are thinking. And this is very important. If we let our thoughts, and I know I've done it before, let my mental side slide down on the low cycle, and then I see a whole lot of stuff I have no business seeing. A lot of stuff that I don't want to see, a lot of stuff that's painful. Not only that's probably within me, that's embedded by layer in me, but also outside by other people that I don't have a connection to. And I've had like two direct experiences, but my spirit light was so strong that even though I was responding emotionally to what I was seeing, but my spiritual cover was right there. And so it's like people didn't see me. They saw me for a split second, but they didn't see me. They stick their head out, they don't see me, but I could see them. It's like looking through a two-way mirror. So We are in an age, the Aquarian age, where we can affect a great change on everything happening around ourselves, and it of course starts with ourselves. So the more that we are paying attention to who we are, the better we can become. And it is definitely highly important that we do pay attention to who we are and who we are becoming. We might want to think that we might be having some difficulties being who we are, but not necessarily. We have to recognize that we have an opportunity to to heal ourselves in a completely different way. We don't have to feel that we're being overwhelmed. We don't have to feel that we're being controlled. We don't have to feel that we can't make it. We don't have to feel that we shouldn't make it. Why? Because the more we get into the spiritual nature of who we are, the more we delve into the practical nature of who we are, the more we can see ourselves as a metaphysical spiritual being on this planet. And that for some part of us, through all of these myriads of timelines, all these timelines that are happening around us, we could choose one to dive into. We don't have to live out the current one that we are in. We are taught to stay focused in this particular mindset, right? We're forced to go, okay, this is who I am. This is what life is going to be. It's going to be rough. It doesn't have to be rough. What it has to become is flexible because we have to become flexible. We have to definitely go inside ourselves and become more flexible. Again, as I do this, I want to thank people to joining me today on Clear Blue Radiance here on the Resonant Essentials YouTube channel. Or I should even be more detailed with that, Resonant Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics YouTube channel. Yeah, and I'm usually here every Thursday. We had a almost like an icy, rainy storm way back there on November the 6th going into the 7th, and it kept me offline, my internet offline, and I had intermittent uh, internet going on even up until the 13th or so. But I was back on live on the 14th. So here I am again. It's the 21st. So thank you for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat room here so I can see them, and I can also, your comments can be read by others. So this is an opportunity to enlighten each other, to raise our consciousness in more ways than one. Just not hearing me talk and teach, but also hearing other people planting seeds. In fact, how many of you, since I mentioned earlier, there's two Plutos, okay? There's the cartoon character of the hound dog called Pluto. That was a Disney character, and it was a pet, an animal, a pet, four-legged pet for the four-legged creature called Mickey Mouse. And he was supposed to have been hunting a moose, right? He have a mouse hunting a moose much bigger than him, having a dog as his pet. Okay. And I mentioned earlier that this creative pet called Pluto was created on May 3rd, 1930. May 3rd, 1930. Now, I was thinking of the date May 3rd. I think of the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, born May 3rd, 1933, under the sign of Taurus. So, there's a lot of things that come to mind. Creativity is a thing that helps all of us free the mind, free the spirit from being locked up with trauma. We're supposed to be able to laugh at a lot of things. Yes, this is a very serious time, and not to take lightly everything that we see going on in our world, but we still have to bring some joy and laughter into our hearts and into our minds. Now, one of the things too we want to keep in mind, this planet, astrologically, Pluto, is going to affect all other planets. That means now that Pluto is going to be into the sign of Aquarius, and for 19 to 20 years, okay, it's going to sit there in Aquarius. All the other signs around it are going to be affected on some level. Now, a lot of this information you can find if you Google it, you'll see how it affects your sign. If you go ahead and start to Google uh, it right now, Pluto in Aquarius, and how that sign, where planet being positioned in Aquarius, how it's going to affect your sun sign, so to speak. That's the best way to kind of look at it. On TikTok, there's some fabulous information there that people have, and it's has been helping people for a long time. So what you want to do is delve into it as much as you can. If you're born, I would say, if you're born under the sign Aquarius, you can probably attract some different kind of friends into your life. You know, Aquarius 11th sign is the house of friends and so forth. But you might notice there's some weirdness going on in your circle, and you might want to, whisk it out with a broom, so to speak. So you're going to have a total different outlook on new ideas and how you relate to friends. This is just my interpretation. I'm not saying it's correct. It's just something I'm going to feel the need to say. People under the sign of Capricorn, you'll probably have some very strong energy that's going to be you'll be working with, and you'll probably get through a lot of different situations or things that have been weighing your body and your mind down. If you're a very competitive person, like most Capricorns are, you might find your competitive personality popping up more. But if I was you, I wouldn't stay in that too long. I would find a way to build a better future for yourself as now, as you start to move into that. If you're under the sign of like Scorpio, you might realize you can get very intense, in your relationships with your coworkers, with your business partners, with your marital, romantic partners, with family members. You might find this desire to keep a lot more things to yourself, right? Mars rules Aries, rules Scorpio, and Pluto is the double octave, is a higher vibration. So you might find yourself wanting to make certain changes that you see happening in your life and not say too much to other people right now. Usually, Scorpios can be quite secretive. They'll say one thing, do another to keep you off their back. Aquarians can do that too. They'll say one thing to paint one picture, and they have a totally different picture that they're living by. And this doesn't mean that they're trying to mislead you. They just have some things close to themselves that they need to be close with, and other people don't need to be tuning into it. There's other ways of looking at this. I'm a numerologist, so if I see Aquarius, which is governed by Uranus, which is the number 4, so I would think that people on the sign of Leo are going to go through some changes too, personality wise, how they view and see their lives. The same with people born under the sign of Cancer. They're going to change their whole outlook, how they view the mothers and the fathers and their families, how they view women and their families, who they're going to be dealing with, who's going to be the best friend or a friend that they might push away from themselves. I might look at the number 5. 5 is a very inquisitive, freedom seeking number. But I think with that Uranus in place in Aquarius, or Pluto sitting over there, that number 5 person is going to either do things swiftly or things in a very static way. 5 is not going to be so talkative. 5 is going to pull back more. Okay. Now, if you're born on the 23rd, you might be out and about networking more. If you're born on the 14th, you might be out there networking more, but you might hold back just enough. If you're born under the number 3 vibration, with Pluto being in Aquarius, yeah, you're going to talk a lot. You're going to express ideas. You want everybody to hear what you're saying. If you're a number two person, you're all about relationship energy, balance, and harmony. And you're very good with business. So your business as a number two person will greatly improve, especially if you're an entrepreneur working for yourself, or you've got this big business venture that you're going to step into. You might become very successful. If you're number one, you're definitely going to take the lead no matter what. You're gonna not going to let other people take the lead for you. If you're born on the number birthday number six, 6 and 8, they make money. So 6 and 8 people, they will be out there churning up money, either doing investments and sticking with that and making sure that they are successful. They're going to make sure all their contractual statements, and this happens with number twos as well. So 2, 6, and 8, they're going to be looking at agreements and contracts. If you're a number nine person, don't let people upset you. Don't let people upset you. If you are a number nine person, don't let people play those emotions. Don't let them get you into arguments and beefs, and don't hold on to the past. Whatever you do, if you're a number nine, get ready for the year coming up for yourself. If you are a number seven person, don't spend too much time alone. Being out and about with others, but with quality friends, that's important. Get out, be out with positive thinking people, emotionally high energy people, people that don't talk about the past, people who are not whining about the past. Um, Stay away from certain things that will create imbalances. So sevens, don't get high. And if you have to, don't get too high, okay? Bring yourself back down to earth. So these are just some of the things I wanted to mention. Hey, TikTok, that was for you. All right. We did 11 minutes there talking to TikTok audience. So that's something that they can pick up on later. But my thoughts right now, I said there are two Plutos. There's the cartoon character Pluto, and then there's the Pluto in the heavens. And might see it this way: it's all about change. What we're seeking to do is change the way we think and change the way that we look at things in front of us. If you want to turn around and look at past events, you can, but don't wallow in the past, even if it was a very successful past, because it's all about what you're doing now and what you can do to benefit from now. So you might want to look at what is it that I need to do to create more focus? How do I step back from trauma? Or how do I get through trauma that seems to be lingering in my mind and lingering in my heart? We're going to have to start to clean out ourselves. You remember when you used to take an enema, uh, better word, they call it colonic, right? And you flushed out the intestinal tract, the little one and the big one. You did liver cleanse. Liver cleanse was cleaning out stuck stuff in the liver, right? Kidney cleanse, the same way. You're trying to make sure you didn't have no kidney stones, things hardening up in the arteries. We have to do some cleansing. You might have to allow yourself to go on a water fast. Drink more water. Drink water maybe at the beginning of the morning with a spritz of lemon in it to clear yourself. You might have to do some stuff at night for yourself. But it's all about a cleansing process that we all have to go through. We have to do at some point. Once you get into these cleanses, these moments where you're detoxing, you'll realize that you're flushing out a lot of toxicity out of your system, out of your bloodstream, out of your organs, out of the cells in the bloodstream, the cells in the bone structure, the cells of the hair and follicles. the nails, the skin. Skin is the biggest organ. All of this is being worked on all the time. So we might say during these next 2019 to 20 years, with um, Pluto being in Aquarius, we want to maybe look at ways that we're going to change our life for the better. Now, in most cases, we're constantly changing our life for the better, right? We're constantly finding new circles of friends to be with, different family members. Sometimes family members have been so distant that they don't even know each other anymore. I would suggest that if you can, weave that family back together if you can. Now, we know politics has destroyed families. Politics have destroyed friendships, marital situations. Siblings don't even connect anymore because of certain political climate that has been established. Conspiracy energy has created splits. But the one thing that doesn't split is yourself. We're always seeking the soulmate. I want to meet my twin mate. But when you start to study with meditation, you figure out and learn sooner or later the one that split off from you from the beginning, but has always been around you, is your higher self. That's you at the highest plateau of infinity, where you know everything you're supposed to know, so that you could change the dials in your life. And that's what we're striving to do. We're striving to change the channel in our life so that we're not stuck anywhere. We don't need to be stuck. It's important that we find a way to move forward in our life. We want to be able to move forward because if we're not moving forward, then we become stagnated. I'm going to say that again. If we're not moving forward, then we become stagnated. And we don't need to be stagnated anymore. We don't need people manipulating our level of consciousness anymore. We don't need people to sidetrack us with conspiracy theories anymore. We're above all of these things and we have to step it up. We have to step up into a higher level of awareness for ourselves. There's a lot of things, a lot of different techniques people are utilizing online or telling you about, and you should consider them because they will help you. YouTube is a great resource for lots of things that talk about quantum leaping to timeline shifting to, elevating the mind, clearing the body, using solfeggio tones and uh, all kind of things, binaural beats. There's all kind of ways. So we should investigate as much as we can. And if you're able to put those things in motion for yourself, do so. If you're somebody who's a student or a master teacher of Reiki, put it into motion for yourself and your family. If you are a crystal person, put that in motion for yourself and your family and your environment. If you're a person who studies homeopathic sciences, work with it. Aromatic sciences, work with it. Aromatherapy, therapy, learning how to prepare certain foods so that you are constantly elevating yourself. But like I said in my seventh book, if at all possible, do not let yourself fall too much into hallucinogenic drugs. They help up to a point. All the different indigenous tribes have used and continue to use them, but not to destroy their ascension, but to elevate their consciousness, expand so they could really see light moving around them energetically. That's what we have to do. We have to begin to see light happening around ourselves energetically. Good afternoon, Barbara Ewing. How are you doing today? So, this is essential to our well being. People say, well, Hey, I smoke a joint here or there. I've used what's that? Ashwagandha, I think it's called. I need to get my words out here. People try a lot of different sources, but they shouldn't try them by themselves. The people do shrooms. Don't do it by yourself. Have someone there that actually knows the route, the experience, because these things aren't for everybody. And if you don't know what you're looking at and how to interpret something, you might read something the wrong way. Then, when you come out of that session or that circle of energy and kick things in reverse when you need to be moving forward, there are many people who utilize these and for months on end have not changed. There's some people where they're not changing. That's just like saying you go to a hypnotherapist, and a hypnotherapist will tell you if you're a candidate for being hypnotized. There's some people they aren't. No matter what the hypnotherapist, man or woman, will do, that person is not triggered by any secretive words or any tones or any symbols. You can't. Why? Because the structure of who they are, how they are made up, doesn't allow for anything that appears to be trickery or mind altering to take place. So it's the same thing. Certain things will affect you, other things won't. Some things will just get you physically ill if you're pushing it too much. And I can only say this by somewhat of experience. When I was 3 years, 2 years into studying meditation on my own, after first learning it from a non student who used to come there and teach me, I would be around people who were smoking the joints. And I think I was around to challenge. And I did a little bit. I didn't like the headache I got afterwards. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like the hangover I got. Then I couldn't really see what I needed to see clearly in meditation. So I decided that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it when I'm not in meditation or not getting ready to do meditation. Why? Because I don't need to be open like that. I want to have self control. So I'm not knocking anybody who does it. I'm just saying you need to have self control because the energy level will go up and you're seeing one thing and feeling one thing. But when you come down, you're supposed to be able to maintain that high when you come back down the ladder. You're not supposed to be at lost because you are on the ladder. So it is very important if you're somebody that's doing meditation, astral projection, soul projection, trying to find a timeline, make sure that you have absolute control over this. You have to, because if you don't, you become lost. And you got to make sure that you're not lost. So I always say to, my students around the country, they often ask, well, should I do this? I say, well, if you're going to go out and party tonight, just go out and party tonight. Don't come home trying to meditate. They don't mix. They never do. Wait till you're clear of the party atmosphere of drinking beer, wine, and other alcoholic spirits. Make sure you're cleared of, smoking some cheap, whatever. Make sure you're clear of those things. Give yourself a good 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours of space where now you're grounded into the earth. Maybe go outside if you can, walk barefooted, hug a tree. Stay grounded. Then start to go into your meditation. Why? That way you don't deal with any illusions. You don't get any misguidance, misinformation, because that's very easy to have that pop in around you when you're trying to meditate. So do what you can, to have a clean meditation, as I call it, because you're trying to purify the mind and purify the intentions and purify your feelings, your emotions. And the only way you can do that is learn how to not have a crutch. Now, people say, well, hey, man, you're wearing crystals. Isn't that a crutch? But I'm not using the moldavite and the selenite to meditate with. I have it for a whole nother reason. But I have a lot of, in my residence, I got a lot of selenite in here. That you see right there, one of my students gave me a ball, a sphere. Looks like an eye in it when you look at it. That's polished selenite. I got selenite all around my computer. I got it behind me in different ways. I got it on my altar, a huge piece called the thigh bone, that I call it the thigh bone. It's like that round, and it weighs a good 4 or 5 pounds. But I don't need the frequency of it. I've learned to work without the frequency. When I go out and about, I'm not tuning into crystals or anything of that nature. I'm just tuning into the energy, the oxygen, the electromagnetic grid in the air, not created by man-made grids. So there's all kind of ways that you can develop yourself. And with this Pluto being in Aquarius, it's a time of rebirth, regeneration, and transformation. And when we start to transform, we're going to look different. In fact, many of us over the years are going to feel different. We're going to feel lighter physically. Your skin will smooth out. And if you start meditating with the sun, doing solar gazing within the 20 minutes of sunrise before the light turns white, or the last 20 minutes when it's going down on horizon for sunset, those energy rays from the sun are going to create changes for you. You'll be able to feel better. You'll get into the sources, different avenues of healing. You'll hear what you need to do for yourself. So you want to make sure that you're spending the right time with the right people. That's important with this Pluto in Aquarius. So, are there any comments people would like to make before I sign out today? Does anyone have any questions? Hopefully, Golden Timeline 711 got back in here. She was here earlier, but I didn't have any sound, and I had to take a little more than 2 minutes to get back on. But we were able to get this information out to you today. Well, one of the things I'm going to mention here is this. We can either become shut down and limited or become expansive. We can either shut down and become limited or become expansive. Hey there, Indigo Moon. Thank you. Well, we all need to do the work. Sometimes I slack off and I get lazy. We need to grow, become expansive, and grow literally in every way possible for ourselves. What does that mean? That means to use our powers of creative visualization, decrees, lucid dreaming, astral and soul traveling, and create better lives for the highest good of all. So, what I want to do is take you into a meditation right now. So, I want to give you all a brief meditation, and I want you to envision, create in your mind, seeing yourself healthier, seeing yourself have greater intelligence, higher intelligence, feeling yourself becoming more psychic, clearly, more intuitive, see yourself to become a greater empath, see yourself being able to communicate with nature, and I mean nature, being able to talk to insects, birds, dogs, cats, moose, bison, cougar, condor, hawk, raven, crow, eagle, being able to communicate with all parts. Why? Because our ancient of the ancient ancestors had that ability, and it was second nature. They could talk, they could communicate with nature. They could communicate with the David kingdom of water, of air, of fire, and earth. They had that communication there naturally. So let's just take a moment where you envision yourself being this higher, masterful being walking on earth. And as you do this, I want you to begin to inhale the feeling of it. I want you to plant the seed into the universe where you see yourself being better, doing better, living better, having a big smile on your face, not feeling overwhelmed by trauma and depression or anger. See yourself uplifted, feeling better about your life and the people that you interact with. See greater success happening for you. Just begin to take on that mindful feeling that all things are possible because of you being truly aligned with divine source. See yourself being that for the highest good of all. Because whatever happens to you in a very positive way is going to affect people around you, people that you are connected to. You will find others feeling better about themselves because you feel better and they are connected to you. So begin to take on this feeling where you are doing better for yourself. If you were living in a time or a place where you didn't have any finances, see yourself becoming again this divine person, this creatively divine person, this spiritual, metaphysically based divine being who can create at will, who can change your own life at will, on demand. You begin to draw into your life more positive people, people that coming into your life with joy. See, we can't expect other people to create joy for us. We must create it for ourselves. So begin to see this in your life changing. And it doesn't always have to change step by step, inch by inch. It can begin to change now because you have that remembrance of being in another timeline or several different timelines where you are a very successful person, a very successful life, a better marriage, where you are healthier, where you can see all things in the light. Nothing escaped your peripheral vision. You could see the beings of light. You could see the ascended masters, and you could connect and communicate with them. Begin to feel this as a gift to yourself, a present to yourself in this present moment. Know that all is well. Nothing is ending, everything is growing, and you are divinely protected no matter where you are on the face of this earth. So is your family, so are the friends that you connect with in life. All that is natural is good for you, and you begin to understand that. You can communicate, you can hear the vibration in the world. And it doesn't matter what level. You will be a success because you're here to become a success. You become a greater leader because you chose to be a greater leader. You chose to make things better. And with that, my grace is your grace. Have a pleasant rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. This is my podcast, weekly podcast called Clear Blue Radiance. I'm here every Thursday on the Resonant Essentials YouTube channel, and usually here at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm here Central Standard Time at 2 p.m. and East Coast every Thursday at 3 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jackie Fillmore, Linda Garcia, Indigo Moon, Barbara Ewing, Jackie Fillmore, Antoine. Thank you, everybody else that'll probably hear this later, like Melanie Hall and Jen Merriman, and so many other people will come in here. So, thanks for your time. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, you are much better today than you were yesterday, and you will always be divinely protected. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. Look forward to seeing you soon and have a pleasant rest of your weekend, and next week as well. All right, everybody. Take care.